Who's going to step up for the Florida Gators wide receiver room as injuries keep piling up?
You are Locked On Gators, your daily podcast on the Florida Gators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Locked On Gators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free wherever you listen to the podcast and on YouTube. Today's episode of Locked On Gators is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the app today. And the Florida Gators going into the Georgia game this past Saturday were without leading receiver Vernell Brown III, true freshman, again, leading the team in targets, catches, yards. He's up there in yards per catch. No touchdowns yet, but a lot of yards there. He was also the team's punt returner and was more dynamic than I think anybody we've seen lately. Chim DK last year was very good, scored his first punt return touchdown this past Sunday, but no Vernell Brown III. You went into the game without Aiden Mizell, who has 11 catches, 107 yards, 1 touchdown. A fairly unproductive season so far for him. He's 7th on the team in catches. And then during the game, you got 1 catch from Dallas Wilson. And Dallas Wilson, 12 catches on the year, 174 yards, 3 touchdowns. Dallas Wilson's tied for the team lead in touchdowns this year. He's played in 4 games, and he had 1 catch in the last one. So that's a crappy situation, right? You've lost 1 incredibly productive true freshman. You've lost 1 very promising true freshman, and you lost 1 veteran who dealt with injuries, honestly, all season. We kept seeing Aiden Mizell pop up on the injury report, come off. I don't know what the status is for this weekend for these guys. We know Dallas Wilson is expected to miss the remainder of the season, which also isn't surprising. Dallas Wilson is someone who in fall camp got injured, had the boot on his foot. Same foot that has this boot now. It's been a thing all season. Even when he was going off, it was a thing. Seems like the decision has been made. All right, it's time to shut him down, get him healthy, and live to fight another down. I do think, especially, seeing how injuries have stunted development of guys like DJ Lagway, where it's like, all right, well, if you can't practice, you can't really get better. And so let's get Dallas Wilson healthy for essentially spring ball at this point and deal with that. But Florida had Trey Wilson step up against Georgia. Something about it, I feel like every time Trey Wilson does play Georgia, because in 2024 he was not available for that game, but in 2023 he had 11 catches, 81 yards, and a touchdown. And then this past Saturday he had 9 catches, 121 yards, and a touchdown. It was his first time going over 100 yards against a Power 4 opponent. And so Trey Wilson stepped up. That's great, right? Like, this receiver room has lacked consistent play. And also, we will say this, part of that is due to DJ Lagway underperforming throughout the course of this season. But even J. Michael Sturtevant, who I do think that J. Mike has looked pretty good when given opportunities. But DJ Lagway completing just 47% of passes when he targets J. Michael Sturtevant. They have not been able to connect. They have not been able to get things going. I know that people bring up that pass on Saturday that was a catch but wasn't ruled one. And look, we'll talk about it with Hayden Hansen a little bit later today when he joins us. But I'll say this also. Like, my stance on it was that I don't care what, like the front angle, like, it doesn't look like a catch from the front angle. From the back angle, it looks like a catch. From the side, it looks like a catch. But from that front angle, it doesn't. There was no clear, conclusive, indisputable evidence in either direction. And so whatever got called on the field was going to be upheld. That's just what it was. So J. Mike, sure, maybe got screwed at that catch. Would have been, 290 yards on the year instead of his 240? Would have been completing, 50% of the passes intended for him instead of 47? Yeah, someone on this or in this receiver room needs to step up. TJ Abrams had the rough drop on Saturday against Georgia, which we'll talk about with Hayden Hansen as well. Going to ask about the 4th and 1, going to ask about that. But someone in the receiver room needs to step up. They like just in terms of pure snaps, like Tank Hawkins has not been given the snaps or the targets, which I'm not excusing anything. I would like to see Muiz Tonkara, if he's healthy, true freshman, I'd like to see him step up and take over that X receiver spot behind J. Michael Sturtevant now that Dallas Wilson's out. Like I said before, I would like to see Tank Hawkins, TJ Abrams, like there's speed. And also, actually, I'm also going to throw this name in there. I want to see more of Nashawn Montgomery. That's it. Like I want to see more of Nashawn Montgomery. And I realize I'm listing a bunch of names, right? Like this is a receiver room that has a ton of speed, ton of dynamic playmakers. If you know the playbook, put them on the field. Like there's nobody right now that's active and healthy that I go, they need to be on the field all the time. A receiver, no. Vernell Brown III, sure, you could have said. Dallas Wilson, you could have said. Like Dallas Wilson made plays every time he was targeted. Felt like. So I think that there are some guys who go, hey, like we got to get him as many reps as possible. But at this point, I don't think there's anybody in the receiver room that I look at and I'm like, all right, he's a dog. He's been a dog. He needs to be out there. Trey Wilson had a great game against Georgia. Doesn't mean that I'm like, oh, he needs to be out there all the time. Like one game is not changing anything. I'm glad that we got to see him run routes. I do view him as someone that's going to get more of those opportunities and will probably take advantage of them. Like I think he can. But even then, there's nothing that's saying, all right, like he needs to be out there all the time. I just don't see it. And so again, like we don't know what Vernell Brown III, what his status is yet. We'll get that later today. We don't know what Aiden Mizell's status is yet. We'll get that later today. But I would just like to see some of these younger guys get more reps. And I spoke about this last week, right? Last week it was, okay, you guys said you're going to spread things out. Let's see it. This week there's injuries. Let's get some of the young guys more reps, see what we got. Nashawn Montgomery against Georgia had, I want to say it was the best blocking rep that we've seen from a wide receiver on a screen all season. I don't think we've seen a better blocking rep from a receiver on a perimeter screen all season. And Nate Montgomery came in, did it right away for Trey Wilson. Like let him out. Like if he's doing the dirty work, we know he's a dynamic playmaker. We know he's an aggressive playmaker. If he's doing the dirty work and he's making plays, like let him make plays. He's got 2 catches for 19 yards this year. It's nothing big. Like he hasn't played a ton. Get him reps. Tank Hawkins, Muiz Tonkara, Nate Montgomery, TJ Abrams. Like I want to see all of them get reps, especially if you're without Vernell Brown III and you're without Aiden Mizell again. Just let the young guys play. And I'm not saying like, oh, they're undeniable. They need to be out there all the time. I'm just saying no one has proven that they're undeniable in this wide receiver room. Might as well put the young guys out there, see if you can get them ball in space and see if they can make some plays for you. Like that's the way that I look at it. I don't look at it as anybody's undeniable. I don't look at it as anybody is a proven product that we know what we're going to get. I look at it as there's a lot of underwhelming guys out there right now. Like J. Michael Sturtevant is someone I was very excited for coming over. He's 3rd on the team in targets, but he's 5th on the team in catches. Vernell Brown III has 32. Trey Wilson has 27. Jaden Ball, Hayden Hansen both have 22. And then J. Mike has 17. Like, I've not seen something where I go, okay, like that's a dude that needs to be out there every single play. Rotate the young guys. Let them play. Just put guys out there that you know can make plays. And that's what Florida's recruited for years under Billy Napier. Has been, we're going to go get these dynamic playmakers and then for some reason not give them all the football, but give them the football. Let them make plays. Like you've got the opportunities. You've got the guys that can go out there and make those plays. Let them do it. Simple as that. That's at least how I look at this wide receiver room, is that there's a lot of athletes. Nobody's been proven. Let the unproven guys get reps, get opportunities, and just see what happens with it. It might not work, but it might. And like what you're doing now isn't exactly working. Figure some things out, get more dynamic. We are going to be joined by Hayden Hansen to talk about the Georgia game, what it's like under Billy Gonzalez compared to Billy Napier, injuries, the 4th and 1 run, when we get back with Locked On Gators. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game or you just want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who'll score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. And it keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Joining me now for Locked On Gators is Hayden Hansen, Florida Gators starting tight end. And Hayden, this past weekend, 24-20 loss to Georgia in the cocktail party. Probably the closest that Florida has come since actually beating Georgia a few years back. What happened in this game? And that feels like a weird way to phrase it too, because that was one of the more competitive games we've seen in a while. But with every loss, we say just what happened in that one.
I mean, it just comes down to the mistakes you make and the drives. I mean, we played a pretty damn good game, but there's a difference between playing a good game and playing a great game. And you got to play a great game to beat a top 5 team in the nation. And instead of playing 11 good drives, you got to play 14 good drives. I mean, there's just little things on offense and defense that contributed. But, I mean, it came down to the wire, man. And, at the end of the day, you really can't be mad at it. I mean, offense, we had it in our hands to win the game, came up a little short a couple times. But, I mean, it was ours to win.
Yeah, and now that, I mean, you've gone a full game or a full week of game practice, game prep, a game, and the days following a game under Billy Gonzalez as the new head coach. Just what's that experience been like? And has it been different to how Napier would handle things previously?
I mean, Billy G's done a phenomenal job stepping in. Obviously, he wasn't expecting to do this, and they gave him the job, and he's been doing phenomenal at it. I'll say it's not too different. It's basically the skeleton of what we did with Napier schedule wise, but he made his own little tweaks to it and things that he wants to do. So I mean, there's that, and there's little bit of different game day routine and whatnot. But I mean, it's just a different face, you know. And we know Billy G loves this university. He loves us. He wants to die here. So we all follow him, and we're all ready to go out and play for him again in the next 4 games. So.
What was he like at halftime? Because, you know, he's mentioned his familiarity with this rivalry. He was like, you know, we come over the bridge and I know exactly what's going on. Like, I know where we are, recognize everything. And so this was his first ever game where he's had to go in there and say, hey, these are the decisions that we're making at halftime. These are the changes, adjustments, whatever speech he gives. Just what was that like at halftime?
Yeah, I mean, he gave us a big speech before the game, and it was pretty good. You know, halftime we're more split, offense, defense, going over things. So it was mainly Callaway talking to us, and Callaway always brings the juice. It's you could ask anybody. It's pretty fun to watch. But I mean, we just had that edge the whole game. You know, we, like Billy G said, there's no moral victories. We didn't expect to go in there and just be like, okay, let's show Gator Nation we're not going to give up. No, we went in there thinking we were going to win, and I think it showed. And there's just a couple plays that came down to the wire. And Coach Callaway always says there's going to be 5 plays in this game that are going to make the difference. The problem is you don't know which 5 they are, so you got to go hard every play. And it was pretty obvious those couple plays that could have definitely changed the game.
Yeah, mentioning those couple plays, we'll talk about both of the 4th down plays. But could you take me through that first one, the 4th and 1, Georgia side of the field? I feel like it was a very obvious go situation. 4th and 1, you get the score there, or even if you convert, you just get closer to a score, make it more difficult for Georgia to come back. Went forward, 4th and 1, ran it up the gut, didn't work. Just what was that like pre-snap? What happened on the play itself as to why it didn't work?
Yeah, so in previous years, Florida stems their defensive front a lot. They didn't really do it that much this game. But on that 4th down, they did. I mean, it was the right decision. You go for it. You make it 2 scores. You put the game in your hands. You put the game in our defense hands, who have been balling out all year. So I mean, it was the perfect decision. I mean, right before we snapped it, they put about 6 guys in the inside, and it was going to be tough. It was basically a coin flip. Before we walked on the field, I told Ball, I was like, it's going to be 1 yard, man, 1 yard, and it's the SEC, and if If the scheme doesn't fit or whatever, you can't even get a yard sometimes. So that's what it came down to. And I mean, that's what I was telling my parents and things. I was just like, it's hard to be mad. I mean, you just got to be mad at yourself. I mean, that was the point right there to win the game. We didn't do it. There's nothing else. You can't be mad at the coaches. Can't be mad at anything else. You just got to be mad at the fact that we didn't convert that fourth down.
Yeah, and then you guys had the 4th and 4, I think it was, deep in your own territory. Ball got deflected, broken up by Ellis Robinson. What happened on that play? Because I know you guys try to stay off of social media, or at least try to block out some of the social media noise. But I don't know. When I see people on Twitter going like, "Oh, well, TJ Abrams was," I think it was TJ Abrams was open on it. It's like, well, TJ Abrams also wasn't looking at the ball yet. Like, he wasn't coming out of his break yet. None of that felt set up. So just what happened on that incompletion there?
Yeah, I mean, it was a quick slant concept. I thought I had a good chance of getting it too, because I saw the backer inside over TJ, but he sucked up, and DJ had both of us, and he ripped it to TJ. And it's just a tough catch. I mean, I don't know how the timing was or whatnot, but I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, quarterback does the ball, we all got to catch it, and that goes for myself too. It was a tough catch. I mean, it's a tough one, but I mean, that's another play in the game that we have to make, and that goes for everybody.
Yeah, and how did it feel for you? You got some time off in this game. You took a full snap. You got one snap off in this game. More than we usually see you getting off there. So just what was that like? You kick your feet back, hang out a little bit on the sideline.
Yeah, that felt weird, man. It felt like a flashback to 2022 redshirt season. I was like, wow, is this how it is? Like, watch it. Like, I was losing my mind. But yeah, I guess I had about a good 10 seconds to self-reflect on life, kind of go through. But yeah, I was ready to get back out there. I was following my play caller right around. So,
And I feel like we saw. I don't know how to describe, because we saw Amir Jackson for a few snaps. We saw you and Tony out there. Just what was that week like? Because for much of, I guess, all of last year, basically, and the first 5 games of this year, it was mostly just you and Tony would come onto the field occasionally. So just what's that like now with Amir seemingly earning reps consistently throughout the season and trying to find a role more consistently on this team?
yeah, I mean, he's come a long way, man. And the coaches think that they could draw some stuff up to give him the ball, and he's earned it. He's a mismatch. He's fast. He's learned the plays. So I mean, just like he said, he's trying to find a role, and I think he's pretty close to finding one. So.
And there was one play also late in the game that was DJ Lagway rolling left, throws it deep to J. Michael Sturtevant, who has to kind of drop to try to catch it, which, by the way, I will say, there were people talking about the shoulder not being healthy and that being an example of it. That was rolling left on the run, off the back foot, still a 55-yard ball. I don't think that's necessarily what we bring up to talk about a shoulder. But that same play was J. Michael Sturtevant hits the forearms. Billy Gonzalez afterwards said he didn't think it was a catch. How did you feel about it? I'll say personally, I thought it was a catch, but because of how crappy the replay cameras were, I thought whatever was called on the field is what was going to get upheld.
Yeah, I mean, that's like literally the same thing that happened with my catch against Mississippi State. I remember the coach or the ref telling me that whatever the call was on the field originally is going to stand. There's not enough quality video. And I just knew in my heart that it was going to be the same thing with J. Mike. I was like, and I saw him the day in the facility. I was like, now you know how I feel, dude. But yeah, that's a tough one, man, because I feel like it's a different story with every angle you put on. Like that back angle, I would tell you 100% it's a catch. The front angle, I'd be like, I couldn't even tell you. And then like the side angle, it's like I think it's touching his arm. Like, so I don't know. I mean, I think that just goes back to whatever they call on the field is going to stand. That's why that initial call is so important.
Yep, that's why they tell you, like it's you need clear, indisputable evidence, because there's one angle where you go, like, again, the back angle, that looks like a catch fully, like it does. but you can't definitively say, oh, that doesn't touch the ground when you look at every other angle. And it's like, oh, maybe, which also interesting because, and I'm just going to a second here. I hated the refs in this game. I never blame a game on the refs. I think refs are always awful in general is my take, but it just felt so wild. I don't know how you can uphold the J Mike catch or no catch, but overturn the Gunnar Stockton fumble incompletion there on the Jordan Castell hit. I don't know how they called the false start on Gunnar Stockton for the simulated snap. And then later on the 3rd and 6 to basically seal the game, I thought it was more egregious. I mean, he's basically twerking back there while trying to simulate the snap, and it didn't go. So referees were on one in this game. I think that's the only way to describe it. But how is that as a player? Is it just like you kind of just go, like referees suck? Just gotta play to make them, or just gotta play as good as we can to make them as insignificant as possible?
Yeah, but we always say don't leave it up to the refs because you'll never win. So you can't leave it in the refs' hands. And that kind of goes back to what I was saying. I mean, to beat the number 5 team in the nation, you can't rely on the refs. You can't shoot yourself in the foot at all, whether it's a drop, failed 4th down, anything like that, man. Because it'll all add up just barely, and it'll get them out of there alive.
And I know that we've brought this up and we've talked about this before, but injuries continue to pile up on this team, like especially right now in the receiver room. Went into this game without Vernell Brown III, without Aiden Mizell, lost Dallas Wilson in it. How much does that really play an impact on an offense specifically, where so much of the success and execution is based on timing and chemistry? And like, there's some receivers who might be, down on the depth chart and they're doing most of their work with Tramel Jones in practice or whatever it is. I'm not going to pretend that I know exactly how you guys are in practice, but then you got to come into an actual game and it's DJ Lagway as your quarterback. So just what's that like, and how have injuries impacted that?
Well, I think the way we practice, a lot of the receivers get reps with both. So I don't think it's going to be the end of the world, but I mean, it impacts you a lot, man. I mean, there's not another VB3 or Dallas Wilson just walking around, I mean, those guys are like some of the best freshman receivers I've ever seen in my life. So I mean, it just comes down to chemistry. I mean, we have a deep receiver room. All those guys in there, I have full faith in that they can go out there and make their own money. It's just going to come down to their connection with DJ, the playbook knowledge, which I think they all have. I mean, just especially the way we practice, you have to know it. So I mean, I think we'll be fine there. I mean, but obviously it hurts to lose some of your best players. But I mean, one thing this team's always done is continue to fight. So it doesn't matter who's out there. We're going to go out there and give it everything we got.
I will say, and I've been critical of coaches and coaching staff before, but I will say that it is fairly impressive that I feel like even with injuries, like there's not much of a drop off. Things are still executed fairly the same, which I do think is really just a testament to the coaching staff to be able to get guys ready to go and contribute on any given Saturday where, an injury report or an availability report can come out on Wednesday and it's completely different by Friday. And now you're missing new starters. So that's just a testament to the staff there. But this week you guys have Kentucky, which do you guys like just prepare to play the sloppiest football ever when you play Kentucky? Because I feel like that's just every game. Like I like the saying, never argue with an idiot because they drag you down to their level and then beat you with experience. And I feel like that's how Kentucky plays football. And so that's just like, they're just like, oh, we're going to make everything as messy as humanly possible. How do you guys prepare for a game like that where like, they're like, yeah, we don't even care about being flashy or even great. We're just going to make things messy and try to bring you down.
Yeah, I mean, Kentucky's kind of a blue-collar, gritty program, so we're expecting a fist fight in there, and it's always a war. We handled business last year in the swamps. They're going to want to get one back. So, I mean, we're going to go in there and expect a war.
Yeah, how does, I guess, last year play into it? Because Jaden Ball had 5 touchdowns against them last year, just kicked the crap out of them. DJ Lagway, I don't even think he completed a pass shorter than 20 yards against them. I think he just completed everything deep.
He only threw 7 passes against Kentucky.
Yeah, it was wild that you guys just like that was one of the most dominant victories that we saw in the Napier era. So how does that kind of play into last year or play into this year? Because I feel like we've had games where we've talked about with Miami, for example, where we go, yeah, like last year did not go in your guys' favor. Do you kind of carry that over? On the flip side of that, you guys completely manhandled Kentucky last year. How does that carry over to preparing for this game mentally?
It really has zero carryover. I mean, it's a new season, new team. They have new quarterback, new players. We have new players. So I mean, if you do reminisce too much on the past, it'll come and bite you. And I think you see that around the league sometimes when other teams play. It's a completely new team, completely new place we're playing at. We're playing at their house this time, so it's going to be fun. It's going to be a night game in Kentucky. What else can you ask for?
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one. Thank you so much, Hayden. This is Hayden Hansen, Florida Gators starting tight end. Catch him every week on Locked On Gators and every week playing for your Florida Gators. Thanks again for making Locked On Gators your first listen of the day every day. We are available daily and free ways in the podcast and on YouTube. We will be back tomorrow, joined by Lance Dahl of Locked On Kentucky to talk about this Saturday's game. Gonna be a slop fest, no doubt about that in my mind. I am Brandon Olson for Locked On Gators. I will see you all next time.